It's been about 10 years since we saw each other.
10 ans qu'elle ne s'était pas vue. So who wants to ask a question?
We were just comparing notes on our children because we have, we're both mothers and very happily raising our children. And it's fun to see the similarities after all these years.
Yeah, it's a very different world from when we were doing that. Yeah.
You still wear bathing suits and all. Or you don't, no, because you're in Washington now, right?
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you ever find that unfair.
I don't understand, say it. I don't understand.
When it comes to character development on the show, Gabrielle was about 95% of it. So I was wondering if you found that to be unfair, or if you relished the chance to expand your character, basically.
I just think it's so fun because I get to play off everybody. You get to play off of Alex, you get to play off of Kevin Smith, you get to play off of Lucy, Joxer. I was just so lucky to be able to respond and react to the comedy or what everybody was doing. Don't you think? I was like you guys. I was like these, I'm the eyes and ears of you. So that's how I looked at it. So I guess you do develop over time. The highs and lows of the world of Podadia. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. I think you just have to react and be who you are, and then you grow with every character and every story. You grow and you share more of who you are, and obviously I grew up with the character, so it's it'll always be a part of me in there, always.
On évolue petit à petit avec son personnage. Forcément, on est amené à le faire évoluer de par les acteurs avec lesquels on tourne également. Forcément, on réagit aussi à la façon de jouer des uns et des autres. Donc, on est amené à leur répondre et donc à évoluer, à développer un peu son personnage. Et puis oui, à force, on finit par mettre plus ou moins de soi aussi à l'intérieur. Donc, on évolue aussi soi-même et donc on fait évoluer son personnage.
How did you remember all that? I forgot, I had to stop.
You sound really good at French.
Hi everyone. What do you cherish the most of your time being on Xena and on the set? Will you do it? Will you do it again even now? Both of you.
Est-ce qu'il vous reste le plus de bons moments dans le Xena sur les plateaux de tournage? Est-ce que vous le referiez même aujourd'hui?
Definitely what I cherish the most is being with Renee and Lucy and Ted and Kevin and Adrian and everyone I got to work with. We had so much fun. It's really kind of criminal. So, it's unfair that we got to make a living, that I got to make a living having that much fun. So that's definitely what I cherish. And I learned so much from these guys too. These guys are pros and they're great, fun actors to work with.
I know, we're working all the time.
I was working too, but I was learning from you guys for sure. And the crew too. We had such an awesome crew and great friends there, and that was a lot of fun. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do it again. And what I most, in addition to what Alex just said. Oh yeah, so I was going to say also that in addition to what Alex said, being around everyone, that now I look back and I appreciate how outside the box the series was. It was so unique at the time, and that it just took such a trajectory in a very unusual way. It's pretty amazing now because you look at television shows and they don't always keep going after a couple of years. But this one was so out there and it still did really well. And I find that really amazing. And that's the detailed characters and the character development and all the hard work with the costumes and the props and the sets, everything. There was so much work to it. And at the time, it was unusual.
Et surtout, quand je suis d'accord avec ce que dit Alexandra, mais pour rajouter quelque chose, C'était quand je regarde maintenant la série, on se rend compte finalement que c'était déjà quelque chose d'assez exceptionnel à l'époque. Ils sortaient un peu des sentiers battus déjà. Quand on regarde par rapport à des séries aujourd'hui, on mettait vraiment une série à part, et que ce soit pour les personnages, que ce soit pour les costumes, pour les décors, on a vraiment suivi une trajectoire vraiment particulière.
Okay, hi Renee, hi Alex, nice to meet you. I have some questions from Xenite Italian community for you both. I know. Well, the first is, which scene did you have to reshoot so many times that you can't forget, and why? You have a lot of scenes together, really funny scene.
Ce sont les scènes que vous avez dû refaire tellement de fois qu'elles en sont devenues inoubliables.
Well, I remember, okay, so when we were identical twins, I remember us going around, moving around. It seems like that was pretty hilarious, actually, just trying to get in step with each other.
Yeah, and that was, Hollywood can do a lot of tricks and make things look the way, do a little something to make it look like something it really isn't. But in that case, we actually were completely wrapped together. They didn't make that look. We had to, if I wanted to get a cup of coffee, Renee had to come with me to go get a cup of coffee. And if I had to go to the bathroom, I had to, time it, I got about 20 minutes, how about you? Okay, I'll have another glass of water.
I won't drink water today.
Je pense que c'est peut-être quand on jouait de véritables jumelles, on pouvait plus nous séparer, même si Hollywood a effectivement tout ce qu'il faut pour des petits trucs pour faire passer et pour donner l'impression de beaucoup de choses. Là, dans ce cas-là, on pouvait vraiment plus nous séparer. Et on faisait tout ensemble. Quand l'une prenait une tasse de café, l'autre aussi. Quand on allait quelque part, l'autre la suivait. De véritables jumelles.
Okay, the last one, I promise. And how is living this convention after all these years and meet you each other after all these years?
Qu'est-ce que c'est la fait de participer à cette convention aujourd'hui après tant d'années et surtout après tant d'années sans vous être revus?
It's really special for me because I wouldn't get a chance to see Alex. Alex lives in a different state, and then Lucy lives in a different country, or she goes back and forth, but I really don't see them very often at all. So I'm appreciative of these opportunities. You get to see each other, and we get to see our friends as well. So it's an incredible legacy that has many layers to it. Besides the obvious is that we see, it keeps the connection going for all of us.
C'est extraordinaire, c'est tout particulier pour moi parce que j'ai pas forcément eu l'occasion de revoir les autres actrices. C'est vrai que Lucie vit dans un autre pays, Alex vit dans un autre état, donc c'est à la fois bien entendu l'occasion de revoir nos fans, de rencontrer nos fans, de maintenir le lien qui nous unit, et puis à un autre niveau, c'est également l'occasion de nous retrouver.
En France, est-ce qu'il y a un summer camp? Summer camp in France? Is there such a thing? Aux États-Unis, de temps en temps, les enfants go to summer camp in the summer, and it's, I don't know how to say that in French.
Colonie de vacances.
Les vacances,
Colonie de vacances.
Colonie de vacances, avec les autres enfants, et pas beaucoup adultes. Yeah, not a lot of grown-ups, mostly children, very intense, specific experience that if you weren't there, you don't know what that was like. But then you return and you go back to your normal life and your family and school, and no one who wasn't with you can really see what that's like, and you forget, and then you go back and you see them again, and and it's like that a lot. My life is so different now that it's almost like watching a movie of someone else's life, especially all of that, but then I see these people. This was a huge part of my life, and I haven't seen you guys in so long, and so it's a lot like I tell my friends in DC who know nothing about Hollywood or any of that. I say it's a lot like summer camp. You have this very intense experience with just a few people, and they're the only ones who know what it's like, and then you don't see them again for a long time, and then when you do, For me, it's a little emotional. There's a Yiddish word which is verklempt, which is like, I'm trying not to cry. Un peu sentimental.
Pour moi, c'est comme un peu comme une colonie de vacances. C'est-à-dire que Xena a représenté une très grande partie de ma vie, mais j'ai une vie qui est complètement différente aujourd'hui. C'est vrai que quand je regarde les images, comme on a pu les voir tout à l'heure, j'ai l'impression de regarder la vie de quelqu'un d'autre. Ma vie a complètement changé. Donc c'est vraiment un peu comme d'aller en colonie. Vous êtes avec des gens, vous êtes entre enfants la plupart du temps, vous faites des choses vraiment ensemble. Vous partagez quelque chose que finalement les autres qui ne l'ont pas vécu ne peuvent pas réellement comprendre. Et puis vous rentrez chez vous, vous retournez à votre vie normale. Et puis l'année d'après, vous recommencez, vous revoyez ces mêmes personnes et c'est reparti pour un tour. C'est un peu cette impression-là que j'ai en retrouvant tout le monde maintenant 10 ans après.
Elle est une bonne traducteur, oui.
Hi Renee. Hi Alex. J'ai une question pour Renée. Je suis dans mon trip effets spéciaux, mauvais souvenirs. Pardon. Dans la taverne de Sian, dans la saison 6, Gabriel est happé à travers des dalles dans la taverne hantée par Méphisto. Vous vous retrouvez, enfin, le personnage de Gabriel se retrouve dans une eau crasseuse où des morts-vivants essayent de la retenir pour la noyer. C'est une scène aussi épouvantable à regarder pour moi et j'aimerais savoir comment Renée s'en est sortie. Simuler une noyade, là vraiment faut le faire.
So, it's about a scene in Xenite tavern.
Une scène où elle est entourée par des morts-vivants dans une eau croupie qui essaie de la retenir. Dans la saison 6, dans la maison hantée.
It's a haunted house.
La maison hantée de Sian, la mère de Xena.
The haunted house of Sian, the mother of Xena. Okay. How was it to shot that scene? It was when
So the haunting of Nicholas in which scene?
the drowning.
Voilà, cette réaction-là, je voulais avoir.
Come on! It was. Ugh.
The zombie of Mephisto.
Yeah. What's that? What's the question? Oh, it's scary? Was it scary?
Yeah, was it scary?
It was scary for you.
Was it
It was scary for me
disgusting?
too. Yeah. It was not as scary as you would think, and for why. It was it was like a sense of drowning, and that was kind of creepy. But that wasn't as bad as that. Everybody was sick. We were all sick. Everyone was like coughing and sneezing and like. And then someone would come up for air, and the next person would come. So we're always sick. You know, it's funny because when one person would get sick, everybody would get sick. It'd be like this little tiny Xena epidemic on the show. And it was one of those. That was like a cesspool of the flu. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. I mean, at the time, it is what it is. Nobody really cares. There's nothing you can do about it. But that's that's what I remember.
Je me rappelle quand tout le monde était malade. D'ailleurs, c'était souvent le cas sur Xena, dès que quelqu'un était malade, ça tournait. On avait des épidémies dans l'équipe.
But it did look scary, and of course, I liked it. I liked the scary movies, so I appreciated what the effect was. I could tell the fogginess and the hands and the limbs. I knew from my eye what it would look like, and so that was just cool. And it was more than about how do you make it happen,
Mais j'aimais, c'est vrai que c'est une scène qui faisait peur, mais finalement à tourner, j'ai vraiment aimé la tournée, tous les effets qu'on avait mis, c'était vraiment intéressant de voir comment on pouvait provoquer ces effets-là.
Bravo.
Hiya, so I'm going to turn that question 180 degrees around and ask about your favourite bit about filming for both of you.
Notre moment de tournage préféré.
I remember the slumber party. That's what I remember. I remember a couple things with Alex. It was definitely on more than one occasion, but I remember the slumber party was so relaxed. So I just remember it as a slumber party. I can't even remember exactly the context all the time, but I remember that it was just the two of us, and you know there's pink everywhere, little pillows, and it was a slumber party, and it was just fun, and it was lighthearted, and you always appreciated those episodes because some of the others were not. So this is one of the times when it was just two girls hanging out. You know, it was fun.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And for me, it's especially surreal to have had the incredible honor to be part of this sort of female power iconographic moment in media history while being dressed almost exclusively in pink. and Gabrielle's character was so earnest and so sincere and so serious all the time, and that was kind of a breakthrough for our relationship, our characters in the series, where we kind of went beyond me just driving her crazy and actually had kind of a little bit of a connection, but at the same time I was just like messing with you. It was really super fun. My favorite episode is that we also did together was Caligula. It's still, you know, one of the highlights of my career for sure. I loved that so much. And you know, I think most actresses when they first start, they want to do like the really intense, hard stuff, which for me, growing up was always like, I want to play a heroin addict one day. And that's as close as I ever got to come. You know, she was just kind of super fun.
To me, it looks just like right out of the movies now, like a Jennifer Lawrence type thing. You know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? From the whole outfit. You know, it's
like a Hunger Games.
yeah. You know, it's interesting. The costumes.
You just gave me way too much.
I'm really honored to meet you today. I have a question about your part of Aphrodite in Hercules. I don't know if you remember, in season 4, there is this episode called Stranger in a Strange World. Everything is in a parallel world. Hercules is a mean bad guy, and everything is upside down. Ares is the god of love. And how cool was it for you to shoot this episode? Because Aphrodite is what goddess is Aphrodite in this episode exactly? We don't exactly know. In the end, she punches Xenite. They fight over a cake. Do you have good memory of it? What goddess were you actually?
C'est une question sur l'épisode de votre rôle de Aphrodite dans Hercule, où vous jouez dans un épisode où tout est renversé, étranger dans un monde étrange, où tout est à l'inverse, c'est-à-dire que Hadès est le dieu de l'amour, etc. Donc tout se retrouve totalement inversé. Vous, quel a été votre rôle en tant qu'Aphrodite justement dans cet épisode? Quel est exactement votre rôle?
Déesse. Je pense qu'elle était une déesse de virginité. Peut-être. Je suis pas sûre. Ou de propriété. Do you say that? Like following the rules of tradition. Tout cela. I think, you know, maybe she was a goddess of virginity and following the rules and propriety, like as far away from Aphrodite as you could get. And it was so fun making that episode. I think it was the first time I worked with Lucy. Lucy was in there too. And we did a famous cake fight scene together. And it was a real cake. And you know, I didn't have a lot of experience stage fighting, pretend fighting that you do in acting, and Lucy had quite a bit more experience than I did. So they would sort of show me how to do it, and so if you learn to like kickbox or karate or something, you want to punch as straight as you can. But if you're doing it for the camera's shooting from over there, and you want it to look real, but be miles away from the person. So rather than punch like that towards them, you kind of do this round hook thing, right? Is that what I mean? Renee also has a lot more experience. And
You don't want to hit them, so yes.
yeah, and you want to be miles. So for you seeing me, if I were playing with Renee, it's like this, right? Like just miles away.
Get ready. Already.
Yeah, exactly. But if the camera's over there and I get it right, it looks like it maybe it hit her. The camera's over there. And I was a disaster. And we had to, Lucy would go and she'd do it in one take and they'd be perfect. Okay, now it's Alex's turn. Try again, try a little harder. Okay, one more time. And poor Lucy, every time you pretend to get hit, you have to put your neck. Okay, all right, try again. And then it was time for the cake. So by the time we got to actually fighting with the cake, I was a little bit frustrated and a little embarrassed at what a bad fighter I was. And but I was determined, and this was real. And we rehearsed it a few times without the cake, and now it's here. And these amazing, crew members have been working for hours to build this big, beautiful cake. Don't screw it up. And so the cameras are rolling, and this is it. This is your shot. Go for it. And I reach in with both hands, and I grab like the biggest chunks of cake I can to throw them at Lucy, and Lucy is taking the whole entire top tier. The whole thing on top of me.
It's Lucy.
Yeah.
My name is Amandine. I want to tell you, Bob, that I'm really, 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 really happy to see you, Bob. Most of the people, they already asked the questions I had, so now I'm just going to be the girly girl and ask about clothing. Because I'm not a really expert in weather, but I don't think that New Zealand is really sunny. So this is for you, Alexandra. How was it to play with just underwear all the time?
Alors, les questions que je voulais poser ont quasiment déjà été posées, donc je vais m'intéresser à vos vêtements et aux costumes que vous portiez. Je suis pas spécialiste en météo, mais à mon sens, il ne fait pas toujours très très chaud en Nouvelle-Zélande. Alors, ma question s'adresse surtout à Alexandra. Comment est-ce que vous faisiez pour tourner en sous-vêtements tout le temps?
C'est vachement difficile.
Really hard.
Et si tu veux être actrice, c'est nécessaire étudier comment être. If you want to be an actor, if you want to be an actress, actors have other skills that they need to learn. If you want to be an actress, you must learn how to pretend that you're not freezing. Really, I mean, it's the most important skill I learned.
Une des premières choses à apprendre si vous voulez être actrice, c'est à donner l'impression que vous n'êtes pas congelé tout le temps. C'est vraiment une des choses que j'ai apprises.
A couple days ago, I was standing in line for the tour at Notre Dame, and outside and the weather was changing. It was when the winds were coming from the hurricane. So I was sitting there, and it was really cold. And I thought, oh yeah, that's right. The last time I remember being like this was in the winter in New Zealand. And the only difference is you had to take the coats off and you're in these little tiny outfit, But you don't remember anything about the cold when you're acting. You just don't remember anything. You're just talking and that's all that matters. And then suddenly it's cut and I swear you're freezing your asses off. Like, oh my God, that's right, I have hypothermia, I forgot. It's crazy.
The wardrobe department, for me anyway, most of their job was filling hot water bottles and giving them to me in between the takes. And I tend to run cold, like my hands are cold, right? I'm a cold person. But for the poor guys who were not, I can't remember the name of this actor, really funny guy. Robert Trevor is not a cold person generally, and so when he would speak, sometimes steam would come out of his mouth. So they made him chew ice so that his mouth would be cold. Yeah, you don't remember that?
Never ever saw the ice.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that awful? I would have my hot water bottle and he would be chewing ice.
Je pense que je suis pas quelqu'un, je suis quelqu'un qui
Question for you, Renee. It's Xenite. It has this power of woman that comes from every episode. But one thing that I kind of noticed, I think everybody noticed that, is that Gabrielle's clothes tend to get shorter and shorter every episode. Why is that?
Don't ask me, I don't know.
Pourquoi les vêtements de Gabrielle se sont raccourcis au fur et à mesure des épisodes?
Yeah, I don't know. They just thought, oh, she doesn't seem to mind. We'll make it a little bit shorter. Make it a little bit more. But you know, it's funny because I was fully clothed next to Alex. You know, I still had the long prairie skirt, right?
Je sais pas pourquoi ça s'est raccourci, donc je dis bon, visiblement elle a pas l'air de s'en soucier véritablement, donc on va raccourcir. Mais bon, à côté de Alex, j'avais toujours l'air très très habillée.
Bonjour Alex, bonjour Renée. Alors, dans la série, on parle donc, de tous les acteurs, donc de Renée, d'Alex, de Lucie, etc., Adrienne. Mais par contre, il y a une personne de qui on ne parle pas, c'est de Kevin. Alors, est-ce qu'en deux mots, vous pouvez nous dire qu'est-ce qu'il était?
We talk about Xena, we talk about all the different actors, but we don't really speak about Kevin. Can you say some words on him?
Yeah, I guess, you know, maybe, I don't know why we don't really talk about him so much. It's not as if you don't remember him, of course, he's still with us. But I don't know, it's almost like you just don't, I don't know. It's like, why, you know, just, yeah.
Vous savez, c'est pas parce qu'on n'en parle pas qu'on ne parle pas de quelqu'un que l'on ne pense pas.
It's amazing, right? It's funny because I saw him in a play, actually, when the show had finished. And I saw him, I think it was called The Blue Room. And as an actor, you know, he's supposed to be naked. I'm thinking, this is so weird. Why am I here? But he's so good. He is still so good. You know, he's such a beautiful spirit. Oh my gosh, core golden spirit. And so it was really fun for me to see him do something besides Aries, you know, and to stretch and to be on stage and, you know, to be a little awkward and yet still powerful because he was like that from the core, you know. And that's what I try to remember all the different things, you know, besides being on set with him.
J'ai eu l'occasion de le voir notamment dans une pièce, donc ça changeait évidemment de la série. Mais c'est vraiment une très belle âme, c'est vraiment quelqu'un voilà, qui porte ça en lui, c'est vraiment quelqu'un de bien.
He was a lovely guy. He was a class act. If those are my mid-dumo, class act. And I was telling some friends last night, I remember, because we all worked together and we were a bit like a family and we got used to, we saw each other at 6 o'clock in the morning before our coffee, you know. It's a different kind of thing when you see someone who comes and sees them from the outside. And I remember this one time, there were some women who clearly thought that Kevin was the most beautiful thing they'd ever seen, and he was a beautiful man. And they were clearly just, and he was such a gentleman, and he was so kind to them. He was very warm and sweet to them, and then he took out his wallet and started showing pictures of his wife and his children. He was a good guy.
Véritablement quelqu'un de bien, un homme très beau également qui faisait sensation auprès des femmes. Il était très gentil avec elles quand elle leur montrait que leur plaisait, qu'elles étaient fans. Mais puis il sortait aussi son portefeuille et montrait une photo de sa femme.
Yeah, I'll say one more thing about him is that, you know, he is a New Zealander and he is born and bred part of the island. Do you know what I mean? And there's a quality to someone that is raised that way that is extremely of the earth. And that doesn't go away. It doesn't matter how famous you get or what you do. It's just you're part of the earth, and that's what I always remember about him. You know, that solidarity, that very solid quality.
C'est quelqu'un de terrien tient sa terre, vraiment néo-zélandais, pure souche, véritablement. Immense la terre. Et ça va être la dernière question. Here's the last question.
Hello, I'm from Germany and I want to know from you both if you can sound German words.
Est-ce que vous connaissez des mots en allemand?
Just coming up with Spanish.
Thank you.
What?
I love you in German. Ich liebe dich. It's I love you in German.
Danke.
It's funny in America, you know, we learn Spanish, mostly Spanish. I remember trying to take French in school, but now it's Spanish and it's Mandarin. Those are the two languages mostly in California. So it's different, yeah. Yeah, it's not, you don't really see much German at all. It's Spanish and now Chinese. Those are the two. Yeah, it's interesting.
Less and less French too.
Yeah, you have to really work to try to find people who are speaking French. Practice. Or come here. Yeah.
Aux États-Unis, on apprend surtout, premièrement, on apprend l'espagnol. Moi, j'ai souvenir d'avoir appris un peu de français à l'école, mais ça régresse de l'allemand. Très peu, on trouve très peu de personnes qui parlent allemand, et maintenant la deuxième langue enseignée, c'est le chinois. Do you know something in Chinese?
You know, it's funny. It's right now I just have this blur. Mostly everything is French and English back and forth in my head. But I'm trying to learn one word a day, and I just remember. I don't remember it now. It's like, no. I don't remember right now, but it'll come back to me because my daughter's one of her best friends is Chinese, so she's tried to teach me. So this time next year, I'll know more.
Oui, là, je me mélange un peu déjà entre l'anglais et le français, mais j'essaye d'apprendre un mot par jour. Une amie de ma fille est chinoise et du coup essaye de m'apprendre, mais là ça ne me revient pas, donc je vais le travailler pour l'année prochaine. Thank you very much.
Going around to the museums, you know, you see so much of Aphrodite and all the statues, and everyone interprets Aphrodite. And it's interesting, and I kept thinking of Alex, like, wow, what was that like to take something that's such an iconic creation for so long and to step into that?
It was awesome.
À visiter tous ces musées comme je l'ai fait, on voit en fait énormément de représentations d'Aphrodite. Et du coup, je me suis dit que ça avait dû être quand même quelque chose de jouer un personnage, une déesse aussi vénérée, aussi représentée. Ça va peut-être être facile.
It was awesome. C'était formidable et j'adore l'amour, of course, and j'adore Venus, of course, and I'm the kind of actor who I love to research, and so preparing for this role, I mean, it had nothing to do with the work that I did, but just because I like to do this, I went to museums and I read mythology and all of that, and some things were very similar. You know, we think of love as being this very sweet thing, but the myths, Aphrodite was a nasty lady sometimes. She was mean when she was jealous. If she felt like someone wasn't nice enough to her, she could really, I mean, the Trojan War was, for example, at the Judgment of Paris. And Michael Hurst also, who played Aeolus, also loves mythology, so we like to talk about that stuff. And it's funny now, since then, I'm doing a play right now about Edgar Allan Poe, and of course so much of it is about love. And so it's funny to kind of come at love from, and of course everything we ever it's what we care the most about in the world. So it's always a theme, and it's fun having had this funny little experience, even though my picture of Aphrodite did not look or speak like that.
Je suis une actrice qui fait énormément de recherches pour ses personnages, donc je suis allée dans des musées, j'ai lu énormément de mythologie, donc oui, j'ai vu de nombreuses représentations d'Aphrodite, et effectivement, tout comme un peu parfois le personnage, Aphrodite, elle peut toujours une déesse gentille, quand elle est jalouse par exemple, quand on voit avec la guerre de Troie notamment, ça peut être un personnage assez méchant, assez dur. Je ne suis pas la seule d'ailleurs parmi les acteurs à aimer la mythologie, à faire beaucoup de recherches comme ça. L'amour, c'est vraiment quelque chose qui est important dans nos vies. Et là, je le vois, je suis sur une pièce d'Edgar Allan Poe. Et finalement, c'est un thème à nouveau qui revient et qui est important. On en revient finalement toujours à ça.
Pourrais-je demander une question? So, can you tell us a little bit about your work as a director and a producer
Est-ce que tu peux nous parler un peu de ton rôle de réalisatrice et productrice?
So, because we haven't talked in so long, yeah. I know. So I've been looking at more producing and directing things, and this last year, I directed Adrian in this what they call a sizzle reel pilot, and it was really fun to go with Adrian. It's what they do now for television. A lot of independent people like us, there's an incredible opportunity there to go and do projects, but you have to show them what the project will look like. So you create these 1 to 3 minute reels of the visuals so they can conceptualize the piece. That's called a sizzle reel. Okay, anyway, so we did this for Adrian, and I directed it. It was really fun to direct her after all these years, because you know her, and it's really easy to talk to someone that you have a history with. It's just so much easier. And that was great. And then it gave me the inspiration to do one for myself and for a friend of mine who's a writer who I work with a lot. And so we created this, she created it, she wrote it, another sizzle reel for a show. And so it's something that I want to do as an actress because, after a while, it's been a while, right? You get this desire, it's a really intense desire to act. And it's because you need an outlet, a creative outlet for the acting alone, just separate from everything else. And I wanted to do this one project with her. And so, you just look at all your tools. Okay, well, you know how to produce. I do know how to produce. I know how to direct. I may not be great at it, or even that good at it, but I can do it. And then I want to act. So I just tried to look at how do I pull all this together. And this is one piece that I'm experimenting with. It may not be the piece that carries on where you get to see it, but I get to learn how to try. It's a lot of work. It's really difficult to get a show off and running, but it's an incredible experience to really be out there and go, this is what I think is interesting. And I do think it's really interesting. It's about these, it's a group of people who are out there trying to end violation a little bit outside the law, but a little bit, actually very much outside the law. But, and I think that's interesting in this day and age because, you have to still right the wrongs. Theme like Xena, right? You right the wrongs, you do what you can, you fight for the greater good. So it's another theme of my life of having an opportunity to tell this sort of story. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, at least I'm out there trying. So.
Oui, je me suis tournée, effectivement, j'ai essayé vraiment de me tourner plus vers la réalisation, vers la production. J'ai tourné avec Adrian, notamment, pour un projet. C'est comme ça que ça fonctionne maintenant, c'est vrai, au niveau des télévisions, notamment, où il faut qu'on tourne des petits fragments, finalement, de films, de séries, pour pouvoir les présenter, donner une vision de ce qu'on veut faire comme programme. On a réalisé aussi sur un projet qui me tenait à cœur et qui a été écrit par une amie à moi, et puis dans lequel on aborde des thèmes comme le bien, le mal et d'autres thèmes que l'on avait, qui finalement sont des thèmes qui existaient déjà dans Xena, mais qui font aussi partie de nos vies et que l'on traite à nouveau. Alors je ne sais pas si c'est ce que vous verrez, si ça donnera quelque chose, mais en tout cas le projet est là.